he would necessarily fill these spots so highly.
I think it's just them like giving Greymane onto the other side. Maybe just think Cassie is the answer against Greymane, having all that blind when Greymane comes in, and also has that range, you know, for the team instead of Bala. We haven't really seen Bala anywhere tonight. I think we're gonna see it possibly with the next games coming up or the next match with Tempest and KSB. Map number 3. Where are we headed though?
Looks like we're headed to Sky Temple. Will be the map pick of Feliz again. Winner often will pick the map, obviously. That's kind of how it's been in terms of HGC history. We did see Feliz pick the Towers of Doom, of course, though, after game number 1.
And of course, Raven picking map over first.
Oh, that's right,
all the time.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, GLuck picked Doom. Feliz won that map. That's tricky, showing the logo over it. They were the ones who won the map. All right, so we're headed into draft now. Sky Temple, an old favorite. Our map pool is the same, with the exception of Full Sky replacing Warhead Junction. So the map we'll be seeing a lot throughout this year.
Avatar Band coming off from GLuck this time, as it's just one of the heroes that makes the other heroes so powerful, like how even Hanzo or Genji, Illidan, anything that goes in, even Sonya, they can work with so much, even the rotational. I think that's exactly why Avatar is getting banned in all the big maps right now.
Well, this starts to look familiar. Same commitments to Greymane,
Hanzo.
Yeah, Hanzo. We'll see if Hanzo comes in with Dahaka, as that's their prioritized soul laner at the moment.
I want a Lucio to come with Hanzo. Just take Lucio away from GLuck's side. I think that's one of the best supports right now at the moment.
There's a lot of synergy with Lucio and Hanzo as well, because Hanzo's ability to do damage is based upon his ability to be in range, and there's a lot of tricky things where Hanzo has to get close, then maybe he gets dove upon, but Lucio allows him not only to close the gaps to do the damage quicker, but also to retreat. I know it sounds obvious and kind of a silly thing. It's like, well, yeah, you can move faster, so it's easier to shoot, but it actually makes a huge impact for heroes like Hanzo. His auto attacks and Qs and things like Scatter Arrow are going to be very important. Hanzo has not worked for them fantastically. Like, okay, they're going to commit to the Sonya instead of the Dahaka this time. I feel like Hanzo's been good for them in moments of stunning, setting up team fights and punish plays sometimes, but I feel like he hasn't done anything for me from Feliz that we couldn't have seen from like Avala even, or any sort of other ranged auto attack hero.
I think his his ability to initiate the fight was okay, and made some great plays by that Dragon's Arrow sometimes, but has been missing lots of the skill shots. Of course, you can't land 100%, that's for a fact. And also picking Sonya instead of Dahaka this time. Maybe they thought they were having some trouble. I thought they were having a great time ganking into Sonya, actually turning things around, but not this time.
Yeah, they actually had quite a bit of success punishing the plays of Saron last game. See if Saron ends up being on the Tyrael as we move forward here, but in terms of bans now for Feliz, it's tough to ban a specific type of hero. You could remove the Dahaka if you want to take away the globals, because Tyrael is not necessarily going to be in the soul lane, a very weak soul laner in terms of pressure play. Can be okay in the early game, obviously, but in the later parts of the game, he can't really split push, and he needs to be with the team fight, so Sonya will dominate in those moments. And it's obviously a good matchup for Sonya already, so Dahaka, a bad matchup into Sonya, but as we get into the later temple phases, Dahaka's split pushing power, as we saw on Towers of Doom in that last game.
Yeah, that's right. Also, Sonya just has a sustain, can control the temple easily by herself, and I think that's also another reason, of course, if you ever forget about this map. Sky Temple, Sonya is a very strong solo lane plus the temple. Banning Dahaka, I think they're just going against all the solo laners on the other side. Well, does have Tyrael already though? That's kind of odd.
We'll see. I mean, you can run Tyrael with another tank, and you could also run a tanky solo laner. You can see Tyrael can be the solo tank, so let's see how they want to play this. I don't want to judge it just yet, but I think the Dahaka ban is very intelligent. The solo lane often defines how you approach a team fight, and if you've removed that sort of initiation that Dahaka can have while he's split pushing, you're already going to be better set up in every situation. Sonya can do more in the solo lane. Hanzo can approach and do that initiation you were talking a lot better without having to worry about where Dahaka is going to be, where Dahaka is going to try to grab him and brush stalk in. So, very intelligent decision. They're going to go ahead and grab Muradin as their main tank.
OJ was the one playing it last time.
I think Lucio would be a great pickup here. Empowers Sonya, Gives faster rotations, allows Hanzo to close the gaps faster too.
Yes. Exactly, Lucio's stance. Very likely, of course, he's open and Rehgar taken from the other side. I think they really have to pick it up right here.
Yeah, they should save their 5th pick for flex. Okay, so that's what they do. Grab that Lucio here. And
so far, so good from both sides. GLuck finally got the Tyrael. Maybe it's going to be a lot better for Relic to go in once Tyrael comes in. So maybe they have practice in that team comp a lot more.
There's a potential for Malthael to be the solo laner with the Tyrael on their side. I haven't seen Malthael that much and fell off quite drastically after his nerfs, and then Gold Club World Championship was relatively absent. But okay, it's going to be the Malthael solo laner coming through, Li-Ming for secondary damage. So solo tank Tyrael, but very strong with Malthael. Doesn't offer very much peel, but will offer heavy initiation in team fights. If they can outlast the sound barrier, then they are going to crush the team fights using Tormented Souls. So this comp provides the poke as well. They were sorely missing in the last game, and I really, really like GLuck, how they've rounded this one out.
They're drafting in. Also, Wolf, you're on top of things today. Wow, just popping out, man.
I mean, to me, like all these decisions in this draft feel super obvious, right?
Yes.
Based on the way that Korean meta has been played for a long time. The only big question mark I have is Hanzo actually supposed to be prioritized this highly? If that were the case, I think we might be seeing Hanzo bans instead of the Abathur bans. I think this is a comfort pick for Feliz, and it has not been working.
Hold that question mark until Rich comes in, okay?
All right, I'll hold on to it. So for the final pick, we're looking either for secondary heal, which I think would be ridiculous given the comp, or a secondary DPS, more likely something like the Tychus, Tassadar. So this is a comp that's going to rely Sonya to do a ton of frontline damage with the Muradin. So Sonya Muradin going to have to do enough to peel for Hanzo to just hit auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. And Tassadar is going to have to be healing Sonya up like crazy. Might even see Force Wall with this to help isolate targets, but this is going to be tough. Not sure if I can really get behind this double support Hanzo just yet.
It is tough. I think it's providing more room for Sonya to do all the damage along with Muradin, because Muradin alone was taking so much damage and also dying a few times last time. I think that shielding will provide extra protection for them. I think it's a good one, but they may lack in damage if, you know, Hanzo misses all the skill shots. I think that's one of the biggest problems they have right now.
Well, guys, let's jump into this third game. Winner will take match point as we head into Sky Temple. Blue side will be GLuck, and red side will be Feliz. Talked to the GLuck players before this tournament started, and they said they felt like GL and good luck was kind of a staple of esports around the world, and that's why they chose their name. Also, GLuck, if you add an umlaut to the U, is the German word for luck, so that was another reason why they decided to go with this name.
Yeah, GLuck did not buy the team, guys.
That's right. Unrelated to GLuck's last name.
Totally unrelated.
So, heading through here to the Watchtower fight. Obviously, we're going to see Liu arrive here first, as he is Lucio. But a tough fight to take against a Malthael with his soul rips coming through, and they will back away. Tower control goes to GLuck. The matchup between Sonya and Malthael can go either way, but it is usually the Malthael who wins out in the end. Before his nerfs, I think he always won, but there are ways Sonya can, with her Ancient Spear, outplay it. It's just very difficult given her sustain versus his, and in fact, we're going to see that Hanaten here is just not even willing to contest and try to go for those spears. It's a tough matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So Tassadar, I think, is forced to do wave clear from the other side. It's going to be really tough to have all the members just going around. That 4-man down from Feliz will be really hard. They will have to make all the right damage to actually gank on one. I don't think they have enough damage without Sonya. So they just have to go around wave clear, just taking all the EXP. That's what they have to do at the early stage of the game.
They do have really good wave clear. They have Tassadar. Hanzo is going to be insanely good for clearing caps as well once he starts to build out his W completely. I like this, using Greymane consistently throughout all these games to get the early caps. I like also sending up members to help protect Sauron in the top lane so he doesn't get ganked like he did on Sonya in the second game, so kind of having bodyguards for him. So some indecision about whether to take this nightcap right now. Going to cost them big, in fact. Look at this. While they're missing on the map, and because they were scouted by GLuck, GLuck is going to take this opportunity to look at what they're doing to OJ. Zone him out and steal this mercenary cap. And will this cap, this top camp actually be worth it? With only 2 members clearing it, it's not being cleared very quickly.
Oh man, GLuck knows exactly the timing when to push in. Hanzo really not having the best wave clear before 4 or 7 even.
This is reminding me, GLuck, of the old days of TNL when we were all impressed back in 2015. Like, TNL. Coming out for day 1, their rotational play, their understanding of map vision is insane. Look at what they get from this. And what did they lose? Top night camp. Mouthdale's going to have a counter camp ready very soon. And they're putting pressure on this healing well, which means for the next phase, the second phase of the shrines.
The first phase didn't even happen yet.
Yeah. But the second phase of the shrines are not going to have the healing. The lane is always going to be pushed. As you said, first temple phase activating now. Saren is going to be able to deal with this no problem as the rotation comes up. So was it worth it? The answer, I think, is a resounding no. What Feliz contributed there with this night camp was very little compared to what was done to the bot forward.
Yeah, I think they already need some answers against the Greymane. They can't just let the other team take Greymane all the time for the draft, because they will take these kind of Mercam control from the very beginning, the shift away. But they don't have... They're going to be lacking in damage a lot in this game. Let's see if they can actually get the perfect focusing onto one target. Well, Li Ming will be the perfect one all the time, but not when if you cannot hit the skill shots.
I mean, he's been doing a great job, Frankel, of hitting his auto attacks at the very least, his Qs mostly too. The Ws have left something to be desired. Punishing Milky Way a little bit here. Good scatter arrows coming through to add that poke damage. Feliz is playing with fire with this though. They haven't really been able to gain control. They're losing the sustain war against the Rhaegar here. Even with Lucio, they just aren't able to do as much poke damage. That cocktail misses. But OJ is going to have to back off and use his self-healing. They lose control of the temple. Top isn't going to go well for them either. I think Saren actually can tap right now. So he's going to come over and tap and then head back up. Sony can take a little bit of this, but I think that at the end of the day, GLuck gets about a temple and a half here. Oh, but I like this choice. They're going to go ahead and start rotating up top instead. They're not just going to try to contest this, which they clearly lost.
Yeah, they shouldn't really contest both, of course. They should just focus on one instead and try to get that one as soon as possible so the other one does not get finished as early as possible. But this is a great one. Let's see if they can actually make it into a kill. Rhaegar taking that stun. Helped a lot. Sarah will be safe for now.
Okay, Milky Way is super low on mana, but he actually is in such a good spot to actually help his teammates out with any shields and smites he can provide, and if he died, he would be in good position too, so not really at risk here. It's actually kind of funny to see how much Overlord has actually been able to push against the Tastar as Li Ming too. And GLuck won on all fronts. They won more of the temples, they did more structural damage. This fort is going to be down before the next phase. Like, Feliz deciding to, and then they decided to take Night Camp, then were hesitant, then went back to get the Night Camp without punishing the invades coming through from GLuck. That set them on such a bad spot that they're down a level now. And there's been 0 kills in these first 5 minutes. It's just been the rotational play, the map vision from GLuck. And in fact, it looks like they're going to even potentially invade again here. Setting up for right now is Milky Way, the Noblesse invade. Feliz respects it. But realizing after the Sonic Arrow comes out that it's not real. Oh, but he's going to commit. Not a good idea, I don't think.
For a second, they don't have too much CC, but does have the damage. So that was possibly a miscue?
So that type of invade is what, you know, HGC players and commentators call it a Noblesse invade, where you invade to trick them to think that your team is coming with you, and they respect it because they don't have vision. And it worked. Feliz backed off for a little while, then he got greedy. He wanted to commit to the invade, and so he turned a Noblesse invade into a real invade, died for it, as his team was just unable to clear the camp fast enough. So it does help Feliz catch up a little bit before this next temple phase.
Maybe he thought it was 16, maybe he thought he had the chance to do it. Who knows? But still, things happen, you know? And also, he's got the trait value, you know? Oh,
sure.
Of course.
He did a little bit of damage to that trait.
A little bit. I don't know if it's worth it, of course not.
Definitely not worth, but, you know, maybe in his mind, that's what he's telling himself. Well.
But they're 10 though. They have been leading so hard from the beginning.
Look at this. GLuck is just going to invade.
They will lose it.
Yeah, they can't actually hold this. Relic gets vision, goes ahead and Worgen's over the wall here. OJ not in position to peel. Relic takes a ton of damage though from that poison spear. Not afraid though. They steal the camp. And they can now they can head back down. They have the better position to collapse now even onto Aimer here. Needs to be careful. Fort is one shot away from death. Li Ming has just been clearing that bottom lane this entire time, almost like a second solo laner.
Rather than even contesting for that, they should just soak up the XP from the other lane. That's exactly what they're doing, having Sonya and Tastar in top and mid.
You know, when you think about it, there's no one really punished Li Ming from solo laning the bot lane. Then they just rotate as 3
they don't
to invade
have
camps.
anyone.
Yeah, they have no dive. They have only Sonya and Muradin. Sonya's stuck in the top lane. OJ hasn't been punishing. So they've just been getting out-invaded while Li Ming is stealing their stealing their minions, stealing their soak, pushing the lane, getting that fort. And even though Sonya stays top lane here, they're losing so much more than Sonya can provide with her clear.
Martel coming down. I think they just got the call, and Sonya's going to take some time, maybe in 10 seconds.
Good angle.
To join in.
Yeah, Sarah needs to be careful about this.
Let's see how much poking damage actually that will go in. Doing some, Hanzo's doing some scatter arrow damage.
Okay, Milky Way wants to set up for the Tormented Souls, the Sank, right where that Aldruins is. Not necessarily actually going to end up being the case. Saren in position to use it, didn't need to though. Watch where Milky Way places his Aldruins. That's where the Sank is going to happen. That's when Saron's going to commit. Didn't need either to win this battle because Sonya came down late. They had control of the lane. They had a healing fountain that Feliz did not have. And this is why we call this map one of the most snowbally maps in this HGC Pro map pool. Just you lose the early game, you lose that fort, and it's hard to regain map control. Even if you have a hero like Sonya, you're struggling when the push is real. You're getting your camps invaded. And it's systematic what we're seeing from GLuck. Would not be surprised if they go invade their camps right now again.
They also have Tyrael, so right after this was taking a long time, but may not, but the right top, the Mercenary camp, I think they can also do that right at the perfect timing.
Looks like they're going to play it a little bit more passively as Overlord continues to push this lane. Did actually get Force Armor at level 1. It's not like he's doing this with... Oh, nice stun attempt here, but again, that's all Hanzo's been able to do, not enough damage. Didn't even go for like Astral Presence, just a standard Li Ming build, just pushing it.
That's exactly the thing ahead, and does get caught. Saren just queuing, and that's enough healing for himself, man.
Okay, OJ needs to be careful sticking around here. Tormented Soul's available. Why are they bossing right now is the question I'm wondering.
Well,
they just set it up for GLuck.
And Feliz, this is their perfect time to actually poke and do all the damage.
But Sank is available, so is Tormented Souls. This is a suicide mission, I feel, for Feliz. 4v5 here.
Well, they can actually do perfect Sank to engage the sound barrier at the same time.
And this was so much damage coming out. Tormented Souls doing work with the Sank. This was never going to work. Never, ever, ever. Resets coming through here for Li Ming. There's the double. Overlord trying to get the third there onto the Lucio, but it's not going to happen. Boss active now. Temple's up in 20. It almost feels like this game is over. Coming back at this stage for Feliz feels like an impossibility. Challenging that boss with only 4 members against a Sank, against the Tormented Souls, feels suicidal. But remember, they don't have a lot of poke, all they have is Hanzo, so losing this boss means they lose a keep, so they wanted to try to get a lucky win there. They wanted to use the sustainability they have for Sonya there, with the Sound Bearer, with Tastar. It wasn't enough, though.
They'll lose the keep, and they will lose more than the keep here. As they get the control of both temple, they're still working on this boss, you know. And Hanzo, of course, not enough. We're talking about not enough damage from the very beginning. They have to make the perfect initiation onto one target and put all the damage, all the CC. Even that might not be enough with regards to Ancestral coming out, you know?
Okay.
Ooh, this looks like a crazy hard mission for Feliz to do right now.
GLuck coming through now to just avoid this direct confrontation because obviously in the bot lane, Greymane is sitting on it. Relic is just going to finish this rotation faster than come up so they can try to get the last 5 shots.
Do you think it's going to take down the mid keep also with the last 5 shots?
It's going to be close.
I think maybe.
Okay, either way, they're committing to this fight without Greymane. Relic is just now rotating up. Overlord doing a ton of damage. Cleanse comes through here onto Saron. Bit of a disjointed fight here with the Sank. Tormented Souls now coming through. Ancestral too late.
And great sound barrier timing. It's their time to push in, but they have the CC of getting Milky Way. The pokes are coming in right from Franco. They're chasing in with OJ at the front line.
Really good dimensional shift coming through here. OJ very low. Sank does connect, or sorry, Ancestral does connect this time. Cocktail's doing so much damage. Relic!
Li Ming will not get the reset. I think he was looking for that reset.
Oh my god, he was so close.
So low!
If he had another cocktail, if he could have just fired one more, it would have killed all of them. Still ends up being a positive trade for Feliz, but at the end of the day, 3 keeps down, all forts up for GLuck. it might not matter at the end of the day. That fight for GLuck was so disjointed, though. Look at the damage, by the way, in comparison here for Greymane versus Hanzo. Hanzo having a ton of damage, like way more in total, but not the kill potential I think they need, not the AoE that Greymane can provide. But going back to that fight, Sank was misplaced. The Tormented Souls was mistimed after the Sank there. Feliz was up a member, Greymane came late, but still, beyond all that, Greymane's consistent AoE damage and the poke that they had, the Tormented Souls damage, even though it wasn't protected correctly, is why I think GLuck has the better comp, and they almost won the fight despite those circumstances. Gonna go for an invade here.
That's how better of a team comp they have right now, and how they're working in-game. See, they don't even have
3v5.
Leeming and Greymane. Leeming just joined, Greymane's gonna take 10 more seconds.
Okay, Saron is caught here. I think Cleanse is on cooldown. There it is.
It is Tormented Soul in 6, so they can actually turn this around even with that HP.
Yeah, 3v5 they start the fight. They don't get the successful invade, but they trade well, have the rotation down. Solo Temple here, gonna go straight for that top keep. Said 3 keeps down earlier, my mistake. They still have that top keep. Of course, they lost mid and bot only.
So no worries.
Sorry, still adjusting to casting off this monitor. That's really far away. I might have some visual mistakes till I bring my glasses tomorrow. The glasses I only wear at BlizzCon, but might have to wear at the VSL studio.
Oh man, that's a lot of work.
So, Temple already being taken here. They're gonna try to get Saron. He's up at the front.
Oof, does not force out anything, no Ancestral, no.
Hanan so low.
Doing some damage that almost could have been a kill.
Yeah, almost got him with the wave of force there. Now out of the picture. Not enough self-sustain, only having Lucio's healing, which comes through, you know, sustainably, but not, you know, the burst healing he needs. Look at how low he is. Taps, but is so low. The keep, I just say, not long for this world, and as we see Holy Grounds placed here to try to displace OJ if he overextends. Feliz has no initiation except Hanzo's Dragon Arrow. Can Frankel make a play here? It's going to be difficult with all heroics left on the side of GLuck.
See, they really need to force out a Sanctification at least to make a team fight. Let's go.
Oh man.
OJ taking too much damage and actually tossing out of the team fight zone.
Had Feliz committed there, they would have committed the Sank and the Tormented Souls. OJ fearless here.
Cleanse nicely done by Blue Beetle.
And they wasted the barrier. Here comes that Sank and the Tormented Souls. This is going to be the end.
Tsunami of damage coming from GLuck.
Such good patience here. Just what we said in the draft. Wait out the sound barrier. Good cleanses, 2 in a row there coming out from Blue Beetle. The core is under attack now, and they could just waltz in. Don't even need to finish the temple to finish this game with 3 dead. GLuck brings it back. More patience from Relic this game. Overlord taking that soul lane. So they had 2 soul lanes. Camp invades. Understanding of map vision. Very impressive game from GLuck here in game 3. I think by far of the 3, their best game. And they're going to win it with flying colors here as they get more kills with Li Ming at the end. That puts them on match point. A 2-1 lead in the series. And Saron's happy with his performance there. High fives all around.
I agree. They are the stronger team of match number 1. Today's first match, I think they basically lost game number 2 from drafting, from picking Tychus. And after that, like, watching them play after 3 games, I mean, they're winning the macro, the micro, how they control the camp, the timing onto that boss also was perfect, and how Feliz, they just cannot contest against them right now.
They protected Saron when he was pushing the lane hard with the Malthael and even attempted to get a kill in the top lane, which allowed him to get more damage done. Saron was never threatened. OJ tried that first gank, never came back. Then they left Overlord in the bottom lane with Li Ming, and the 3 remaining members were clearing mid with their wave clear that they had with Greymane. His quick camp timing, they cleared mid with that 3-man, cleared their blue side camp, then invaded red side. So they were constantly 1 step ahead. I think the big turning point of the early game was when Feliz decided to start their night camp, and then it was scouted, then they left, and they came back to the night camp, which was then scouted again. And if you're Malthael on the top lane and the lane's already pushed, you just think to yourself, well, I'm going to go get my own night camp solo. Well, they steal the red side camp, push the bot forward. The understanding of GLuck in that game of what to do with camps and rotations was honestly fantastic.
I think it all started from having less damage. Of course, they brought Tassadar in for that wave clear to have that vision, because they were, I think, simply because they're also lacking in vision. They're not really controlling the vision. Of course, even though you can't see, you have to be guessing where the opponents are, how they're moving, where they're trying to focus. But I don't think Feliz has enough of an experience to actually know that yet. So Tastar did help in vision, but in terms of damage, not yet. I think, what do you think was a better pick compared instead of Tastar there?
I mean, I would have just liked a secondary DPS of some kind. Like, I just don't think Hanzo alone gets the job done. He was too reliant on Sonya and Muradin being in the front liners to get into position to do the extra damage. Also, sure, he can clear camps quickly, but when he's getting invaded against a Tyrael and a Malthael comp, which was so smart.
Yes.
Like, my brain's, like, linked with everything that GLuck did in that draft. Their attempt to stop the boss was also a huge problem against Sank, against the Tormented Souls. Well, what could they do? All they have is Hanzo for poke, so if they let the boss go, they lose their keep almost 100% against the Grey Main, Li Ming.
Right.
So they decided to go for the bad fight. I think a European move, like a Dignitas move there, would have been to let the boss go, accept losing the keep, try to catch up in experience, and just try to fight from...
all the way to the keep and then try to go for core?
No,
that's the Dignitas move that I'm thinking
No,
about.
not that one. But fight a keep down. Because if you lose that fight, you lose 2 keeps, you lose a lot more, and I think it was a risky decision that was probably unwarranted. So for Game 4, guys, we are headed to